Midland. Mark, Cameron, Jess are here. Thanks for coming in, guys.
What's up?
Hey,
We're
everybody.
basically taking over the radio station. We're going to play some songs.
We just have
They just walked in off the
taken
street.
over New York.
Strong-armed you.
The new album, Let It Roll, is out, and so we're going to talk about that. And a special announcement is coming up from Midland as well. You know, obviously, about the show, Terminal 5 on September 17th, but you don't know about this.
That we're taking our live show out on Broadway. Let It Roll, the musical.
It's in the works.
2023.
You probably be 2 more albums deep in by then.
Well, what's the real exciting news?
The real exciting news?
Tell us.
The real exciting news is that you guys are playing a show with us at our radio.com theater.
That's right.
The day before.
Right on.
And
the
how
tour
does
kicks
one
off.
get to see this show?
One goes to New York's Country, 947.com, to see said Midland right before they open.
Okay, cool.
The big tour, so we're excited for that.
Right.
And this is kind of a newer venue, little theater for you guys, correct?
It is, yeah, because we were up in Midtown and now we're down in Soho, the very posh.
Yeah.
So-
How has that transition been for you specifically?
Seamless.
I noticed you're wearing a beret, so that seems different.
I've settled in. I'm eating more salads.
And harachis on your feet. That's nice.
Exactly. I know
Looking
all this.
good, man.
Thank you. Yeah, Soho looks good on us, I think. You guys obviously come to New York a lot. I think it's a seamless transition.
I've spent more time in New York City in the last 4 months than I have at home in Austin.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Is there anything you get to do that you want to do, or is it work every time and it's meetings?
No, he's here having a blast.
I had my days off. My fiance was here working, so I ended up getting to see a bunch of friends, and half the fun is just staying at some of your favorite hotels and going to the restaurants. I've got to eat at some really, really fantastic places. I went to I'm gonna slaughter the pronunciation, but is it Rayo's?
Yeah, you got a table at Rayo's?
Yeah, we got a table at Rayo's.
You went to Rayo's?
We went to Rayo's, and that was, for you listeners that don't know about it, it's one of the OG Italian spots up in East Harlem, and you have to be invited because the tables are not open to the public. Mm-hmm. They're owned by families, and you have to be invited to go there. And
those tables are left in wills to families.
Yes, yeah, it's wild. It's one of the most special restaurant dining experiences I've ever had. So only in New York does a place like that exist.
Well, if you want to go to Rayo's, hit up Mark from
No, don't
Midland.
hit me up.
He's got the connection.
Yeah, I got lucky and went with a buddy of mine, and man, it was really cool. But that's the thing about New York City is it's the dining is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The restaurants is the best in the world, and some of the most talented chefs. And
well, you mentioned how many great restaurants there are in hotels, because a lot of times friends come into town. I'm like, we're gonna go to this hotel, and they think you're taking them to like a chain hotel, like Continental Breakfast or something. It's like,
Man,
it's
if
not
you're,
like that
if you're
at all.
into pizza, there's a place called Sbarro's in Times
Yeah,
Square.
that's
If you want authentic New York pizza.
One in Times Square, though, is really the one.
at those moments you realize you're just your dad. Like, my dad goes on vacations, and he goes to the gym, and then basically just waits until the appropriate time to have a cocktail, say 2 o'clock,
Right.
and then goes to dinner. That's kind of what I
This
do
is
in New
your
York.
life.
Cameron and Jess will go out and about. Cameron's really good about going to museums, going to the zoo, kind of
when
get
I'm
out and
with my
experiencing
kid.
the city.
Yeah.
You gotta take him gotta take him to the zoo here is great. The Central Park Zoo is awesome.
What's your favorite museum here?
I mean, dude.
You probably go to the
I went to the
Natural
Met.
History Museum.
I
We got a kid.
went to the Met a couple months ago. That was a blast.
A lot of people, they just associate Met Gala. They forget sometimes there's an actual world class
The new museum's
involved.
cool. New museum for art is good. Geez, I don't know, man. We don't ever have any time. I'm not like Mark. I haven't spent any free
Off
time in New
Yeah,
York. I'm
hanging
here
out.
for work. I
Speaking-
get in, bing, bang, boom, then I get out.
Bada bing, bada boom.
That's all I got for you. I don't got nothing else.
Speaking of work, love the new album, Let It Roll. First
you.
of all, when I go to an album, it doesn't have to happen every time. But when you get an album and the title track is the first track, to me it's sort of like I sort of sit
like
up
a bonus?
I'm like, okay, all right, this is an album.
Old school.
This is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And there's a bookended by Roll Away, obviously, which is a reference to the title track as well. How far into the process did you A, know that was going to be the name of the album, or B, songs had to start getting filtered through to fit in with that concept? How many songs, I guess?
those two songs particularly have been in our canon for a minute. So the idea from pretty early on was we're going to start with Let It Roll and end with Roll Away, and then 14 Gears is also one of those songs that we knew was absolutely going to have to be on the album, which is the second track on the album.
That had been, how was that? That didn't make the first album,
no,
right?
No.
14 Gears.
That's the first song that
that we wrote, or no, that we
yeah,
recorded
we
together.
wrote together and recorded together, and it was the first song that really kind of got us a start, at least out in Nashville, and worked our way towards getting a record deal. So, but it's the most requested and most popular as far as the OG fans go.
Yeah.
So
And
we made a lot of fans happy.
14 Gears, for people that haven't heard it, is a song. It's sort of a trucker anthem, you know, right? And I think there's a lot of correlation between that lifestyle and your lifestyle as well.
It's the same thing.
We're trucker of a song, man.
Yeah, same
Fantastic.
thing, man. A lot of the same overlapping themes for life. It's life on the road.
For sure.
It's life not home.
The first single, Mr. Lonely, which is, I guess, a story about a guy that's, maybe you would call him a gigolo. But what went into the process of picking that as the first single?
It was just that was a song that everyone kind of just gravitated towards right out of the gate. It's a fun song. It's like it's a bit of a calling card for us in terms of the sound and the subject matter. It's just like it's us, you know. It's a honky tonk throwdown. It's fun to play live because, you know, it's up tempo. And I mean, if you'd never heard Midland before and that was the first song that you heard, I mean, I think you'd have a pretty good idea of what we're doing.
Right. You didn't want something to come out of left field. It's not really you guys as the first single. Let's check it out now.
But if you haven't heard Midland, then what are you doing with your life?
I guess that person out there who didn't know.
Obviously not listening to New York's Country 94.7 because
See?
you guys are rocking this song.
Let's check out Mr. Lonely right now. Midland taking over the radio station. There's Mr. Lonely from Midland. Mark, Cam. Are we on Cam level? I know it's Cameron, but
I don't
think
go
we're-
by Cameron.
Yeah. And Jess. Because I go by Jess.
Yes, sir.
Jess
Only Cameron when he's in trouble with his
Cameron!
wife.
I
His
don't
wife.
even remember the last time.
It's Cameron Thomas.
Yeah, Harper will call me Cameron if I'm in trouble.
Just throw
Yeah,
in the
we're
middle
on
there.
that. You know, what's your nickname for me and Jess?
Mine's Jess, but only with the one S.
What
Yeah.
else?
Single
Yeah,
S,
that's what I
Jess.
like to
I always get
call
weirded out by Jess's just because it's, I don't know if you probably run into a lot of Marks,
if you're
but
on
I
a
don't
close
mean
name base with me, you just say Ma.
Ma.
It's M-A-R, Ma. What is Ma?
Well, I
A
met
lot
your
of
brother.
people
We're
will
hanging
make-
out with your brother one time. What's your brother's name?
Mike.
Mike. Okay.
My parents were really creative
That's
with their names.
my dad and uncle's
Couple-
name are Mike Mark. Did your parents
Mark.
say when they called to you, did they say Mike Mark? Mark.
My mom will call me Jack. Jack was our Australian Shepherd that passed away years ago. Sometimes she'll call me
When Mark was
Amy,
being
which
a
is my
bad boy.
sister's name.
Right.
Yeah, she'll forget my name sometimes. But
They've done studies.
Mark, sit.
But they've done studies where people, because the people that are closest to you, you keep them in the same parts of your brain. That's why when you go to pull another family member or even a dog, that your brain sort of, it's in that same deck of cards, so to speak.
Makes sense.
especially in our family, yeah, dogs are right as important as the offspring.
Did you ever have anybody
As they
name?
should be. I mean, we were in Boston the other day, and we were sitting there at lunch, and this lady had a German Shepherd puppy. We asked if he was a good boy, and she said, "He's a wicked good boy."
We were like, well, pick one.
Talking to Midland, the new album, Let It Roll. I think when I go through this, the album, or the song on the album that I thought closely reflected just your experience was Playboys, which is kind of a play on words in a way, and it just talks about, you know, hitting the road and the band. Is that one, which one grabbed, I don't know, maybe you personally or just as a band that sort of, I've lived this before?
That's
It's probably the one.
yeah. That one cuts near and dear, and you can tell when you perform it. You know what it makes you feel when you're doing it live, because it does really feel like it's pulled directly from the pages of our life.
Well, it's easy to write. I mean, it was right there at the surface when we were writing it basically on tour, you know.
Most of this album was kind of written on tour. I mean, you guys haven't taken a
transit,
break,
Yeah, look
right?
at 21st Century Honky Tonk American Band is a song that we wrote on tour, literally in the bowels of an arena, backstage, you know, no sunlight coming through the window because there's no windows down there. and you're just right in
the visiting team's hockey locker for real. The smell was anytime we play that song live, that I get this
smell of dirty socks.
That's interesting.
Smell of sweaty man.
Smells bring back memories. So maybe other memories bring back smells.
Well, they say the sense of smell is the strongest.
Yeah.
Stronger than
I would say
sense
that.
memory.
Yeah.
I have an old college roommate that used to wear too much cologne, and I still to this day it comes back to me.
Was it Polo Sport?
No, it's
Jovan Musk.
No.
Bummer.
I was going to say
what the hell was he thinking?
that's what's St. Ides. Is that a drink?
Yeah,
that's a malt liquor.
If he smelled like St. Ides, that's also possible.
I don't remember much of my freshman year. So.
Yeah, because of St. Ides.
Well, we were talking about how much you'd written that album and visiting a hockey team. Did you realize you had to do the whole album that way? Probably you couldn't all of a sudden say
in the visiting room of the hockey.
To do songs, say where you say, okay, now let's take 2 months and go to an island somewhere and write.
Man,
it wouldn't have been the same.
We had that idea way long ago when we were naive young idiots who thought, man, when it comes to our second album, we're gonna go to Jamaica. And Dan Huff was like, yeah, we'll go to Jamaica. It was like that scene in Big Lebowski where he's like, man, well, we got any leads or something? He goes, leads? Yeah, we got leads. Got the whole team down at working on it overtime. Leads, yeah, Jamaica. We had one writing session that we wrote in Texas with Shane and Josh that came out, and this was on our 4 days off,
Yeah.
So we were literally busing through Nashville and stopping just long enough to record for a couple days.
But we wrote 4 very important songs on that trip. We wrote Playboys, Mr. Lonely,
Cheating songs,
and Put the Hurt on Me on that session, which was pretty prolific.
Yeah.
But the nature and our reality is that we had a lot of kind of unexpected success with the first album, and that catapulted us into the public domain and on the road, because that's how you make your money these days, and that's how you build your audience. You go out there and you do it night after night across this country and across the world.
Yeah. Well, it used to be, you guys know, but if people don't, that you made your money. The tours were to promote the album. Now the album is to promote the tour. But when you say unexpected success, when you started out, what level of success did you think that first album was? This like foot in the door?
Well, we knew that radio, that was. I think we were probably surprised to be accepted at radio. With Drinking Problem and.
Were you thinking we'll get a cult following out of this?
Yeah.
Help us sell some tickets.
Yeah, we didn't expect to be embraced the way we were with radio, and that just opens a door all across the country. It gives you an audience in every town that you go to, and it's a major blessing for an artist, especially an artist like us who. We're doing something that's more traditional, more throwback, and a little bit different. But I'd say we were definitely surprised.
When you have that, sound. Obviously, there's nothing like Midland at country radio right now. And you're working. You'd mentioned Dan Huff and Shane McAnally and Josh Osborne. You've established what you are, so they're not going to try to change that. But is it, when you look at these guys, and I think with that TV show, I don't know if you guys have been able to see Songland at all. It's the show.
Shane's on.
And to get in the genius of Shane, which people now get to see, almost in real time.
Right.
Is it sort of like, oh my gosh, this guy does really good in this one sort of pop country genre, and is he going to get us? Is he going to try to, do you feel yourself pushing back on someone like that, or just
it's
trusting?
Different now with a second album. But in the beginning, I think that's probably where the most X factor was for us. And, on paper, yeah, he's probably one of the least likely people we would have found success with if you were looking at his.
It surprised me when I saw the name and your
right. You'd think that maybe we would have drummed up some of George Strait's old collaborators, which we did end up writing with a guy like Dean Dillon and some other cats, but which was also very fortunate and fruitful engagement. But when it came to Shane and Josh, And we say their names together because they are often writing together with us. There was a shorthand there out of the gates with just a sense of comedy and trust through just right out of the gates.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you can get that. I haven't watched Songland yet, but I mean, Shane is a charismatic.
He's a star.
He's just super engaging person and thoughtful. And we wrote Drinking Problem with them the first time we ever sat down to write. So. Wow. No, I mean there was never a moment where we were like, are they going to change us? Because they fully understood us from the beginning. However, I guess retrospectively, you had maybe a couple days to look up Shane and Josh before we ended up meeting them the first time when it was on the calendar. And we were just so happy to get anybody to sit down with us and talk, let alone write music in Nashville, because we were outsiders from Austin, that we were just excited. We're definitely not the type of dudes that are super protective of I don't know, we're protective of our music, but we're not. It would be foolish to not sit down with people of different walks of life and different musical influences and sit down and try to make something of it, like that's not collaborative. If you're writing with the same three guys in a mirror, it's an echo chamber. You're probably not going to get anything interesting.
Well, I think you said the word comedy because there is so much going on in this album, and the song I kept going back to was Cheating by the Rules, which in this world you've created on Let It Roll, it sort of makes sense, but in the context of everything else that's on country radio, and just sort of acknowledging that there may be, a right way to cheat on somebody, it's such a different kind of concept. You guys have fun with it.
I think it's a throwback to a certain era of earnest and honest songwriting, where you're reflecting all aspects of life, and there's a certain daring that it takes to dive into that subject matter, but the reality is it's happening. It's part of the human experience, and I think part of your duty as an artist and especially as a country singer, which is so much. It's so much of it is rooted in the blues, and guys like Conway Twitty and Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings and Patsy Cline and everybody. It's been in the tradition of country music for a long time to tell not just the sunny side of life and what's beautiful, but also to talk about stuff that happens behind closed doors, and that's as Cameron calls it, like the gray area. Yeah. But the song musically is gorgeous, and the melodies are beautiful. So it's almost like a ruse. It's like making something kind of ugly and maybe dark and making it kind of beautiful in its presentation.
Well, I think it's a whole other conversation. You mentioned the realness of life. I was watching, with the VMAs, even, pop music. It's like there isn't a lot of real life issue. It's, it's about love and having fun. And artists have said before, pop music is about what happens on the weekends, and country music was about what happens Monday through Friday. And there's obviously a lot more weekend songs on country radio. So that was with this album. There's a lot going on. Let It Roll.
Interesting. I like that.
With Midland. So there's two songs. I had one each with Cam and Jess lead vocal. Is that one you raised your hand right away, or just after you in the studio for a little bit, you thought I'd like a shot at that?
It was a conversation that we'd had. I mean, kind of since the beginning. We were talking about this band. I mean, we all enjoy singing, and with our influences, like everything from the Beatles to the Eagles to Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, whatever. Like, we've got the harmonies and the different vocalists and stuff. And in the live set, we've always had songs, typically in the encore, where Cameron there'd be a song that he's had a connection with. We'll usually pick a cover, and he'll sing a song and I'll sing a song, and that's just kind of a reflection of that on the album. And these were songs that that came out of writes that we had done, and respectively, me and Cameron just had a particular like connection to these songs, and they felt like they fit on the record when we were having the sort of grand conversation of what is this album, what's the narrative, what's the landscape. They fit in there, and so it was fun to
it's the album sort of when going through it, if you're going to listen track by track, I know a lot of people don't do that, but there's no this is just like the last song, and those two seem to fit in very well. I know this album is out, and Cam has mentioned you get 3 weeks of being content with a new album before you're looking to do something new. But with a tour that kicks off, Terminal 5 on September 17th, how much of a tour are you? What's that
here's
life?
the deal with the tour, because the tour for us is like the icing on the cake right now. We're a live band, and we spend most of our waking hours playing live music, 300 plus days a year. So if you can imagine doing the same thing for the last, I mean, not just getting up and doing a radio show, but getting up and saying the exact same thing for the last 2.5 years.
Or if an athlete, like it's the same, a touchdown, 2 minutes in, it's the same game over.
There's playing the same game over and over. It's like Groundhog's Day. Well, it's getting to that point, folks. And thank God there's only so many covers you can do in your set to change things up. So thank God we got this album coming out, because it's just all this new material that we get to take out on the road, and we are completely revamping the set, the stage show, the lighting, the stage plot. I mean, everything is different, and it's going to be extremely exciting for us to go out there and play it. And so if you've seen us before, look, I'm going to sound like Don King right now, but we have the same birthday.
Promote.
December 6th, baby.
You ain't seen nothing yet, baby.
That's our birthday, December 6th, not the show date. The show date, September 17th, here at Terminal 5, which we have not played before, will be the kickoff to the Let It Roll tour. And a very exciting new set from Midland. So if you've seen us, come check that out. If you haven't seen us, this will be equal parts exciting to see us for the first time, because it's the first set we'll have been playing with the new set. So anything could happen. I mean, this is going to be
if
like
it's your
Broadway.
first time, it'll be even more mind-bendingly awesome than you could have expected.
Yeah,
from the first
look, anything
tour.
could happen. A light could fall. We could forget lyrics. Someone,
Will my face melt? That's my only.
Your face gonna melt. And you're gonna want to bring a hockey mask.
There always really is an excitement though when you are presenting a new set. So it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
and it's in frickin' New York City.
I mean, it's not to. I'm not sure how important this is to promote, but we are hours before that set, going to be down the street recording Late Night, doing a performance for Late Night, and then literally hopping in an Uber, probably because we don't roll in like limos or anything like that, and going straight to Terminal 5 to play the set. So it's going to be
kind of a rock star moment,
kind of cool for us, and in New York City to boot. I mean, our fans out here are freaking wild. So
we're excited. That I always get this when you see either a band on the day the album comes out or the first day of a tour. It's like going to a Tom Cruise movie with Tom Cruise sitting there. You're like, he's as nervous as you are.
That.
Basically. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Radio.com, Theater September 16th, our Up Close and Country with Midland. You can sign up at NewYorksCountry947.com. We're pumped. Check out the album Let It Roll that is out now, and I figure we end with the song that started it all, Drinking Problem.
There you go,
for you
baby.
guys. It's New York's Country 94.7.